Now, yesterday there was a very strange press conference where the Secretary of State essentially came out and gave Trump a little bit of a handy. Now, in doing so, he was out there denying rumors that he would be resigning from his post, right? And he called some of these reports very erroneous. He also denied to say that he had, well, that he didn't call Trump a fucking moron. That's fun. Now, again, that's very, very strange, as it's been reported by people inside the White House that Trump and Tillerson have not been getting along. According to the Washington Post, Trump and Tillerson have butted heads over major policy issues, including the decision to send more troops into Afghanistan and other small annoyances, like the Secretary's habit of not returning Trump's phone calls. Now, look, the Afghanistan issue, that's actually a very important issue. I'm not with the establishment on Afghanistan. I think we should get the hell out of there. I don't know what we're still doing there other than guarding their goddamn poppy fields. But at the same time, you know, this is just to highlight how many differences that they have. Now, it's funny that they're getting mad at each other over petty things like phone calls. How dare you not return my call? Tillerson, I called you, and why didn't you call me back? I'm feeling a little lonely here today. I'm kidding. Now, more annoyances. Trump has apparently been irritated by the fact that Tillerson had advocated for a more traditional establishment approach to foreign policy. The Secretary of State, for example, has suggested a more diplomatic approach to North Korea and has voiced support for the U.S. to remain a party to the Iran nuclear deal. Now, I'm actually in favor of the, hey, let's do some diplomacy with North Korea so we don't end up having them vaporize Seoul or Japan. That would be great. Let's not kill millions of people, okay? I don't see how that's a controversial opinion, but I'm sure someone will take issue with it somewhere. Now, I'm also in favor of the Iranian nuclear deal. I think it's a good deal, and I think that's what's helping to prevent Iran from getting nuclear weapons. And so far, they have not violated the deal. If we pull out, then we have violated the deal. So, again, it would be a disaster if we were to go the Trump way. Okay? Now, let's see. Now, NBC News also reported that on, yesterday, they reported that Tillerson threatened to resign back in July after the president's controversial speech to the Boy Scouts. Now, Tillerson, who served as national president of the Boy Scouts from 2010 to 2012, was said to be upset with Trump's speech, which many criticized as too political. After the address, the Secretary of State reportedly threatened not to return to Washington from his son's wedding in Texas, but Mattis, then-Homeland Security Secretary John Kelly had talked him out of it. Kelly is, of course, now the White House Chief of Staff. Mike Pence also had reportedly talked him out of it as well. Now, maybe those reports are wrong. I mean, look, let's be honest. Not everybody in the cabinet gets along. There are disagreements and differing points of view, and also the fact that we've never had a petulant man-child as a president before. So there's that, or maybe there's something else at play. Now, what could that be? Well, there is a rumor that Tillerson, Mattis, and Mnuchin had banded together earlier in the administration to create what they refer to as a suicide pact. Now, that is not literal, of course. It just means that if all three members of the president's cabinet will leave if one of them becomes a target of President Trump. And right now, that happens to be Rex Tillerson. So if he fires Tillerson, there goes Mnuchin, there goes Mattis, gone. Now, we don't know if that's true, but it's a very interesting strategy. It's like a solidarity in numbers, right? Now, what gives it some credibility is that this is backed up by some other sources in the White House. In fact, a U.S. official told BuzzFeed that Tillerson would like to remain in the administration simply because of his agreement with both Mnuchin and Mattis. Now, Mnuchin, he doesn't want to go. Why? Because he wants desperately to enact those giant corporate tax cuts. That is his #1 priority, to cut taxes for the corporations and for the rich. And look, that's also one of Donald Trump's priorities. And so Mnuchin is helping Trump to try to enact those tax cuts, which would be absolutely disastrous, right? Now, if Tillerson resigned and Mnuchin had to go with him, well, that would not fly well, okay? So that kind of explains why Tillerson, instead of leaving, chose to stick it out and basically embarrass himself on live TV in front of the nation instead of having his own dignified exit. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.